Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Wednesday, May the 8th, 2024 for you. It's Tuesday night, May 7th for us. Keep that in mind moving forward for any todays, tomorrows, or yesterdays we might throw at you. We'll try our best to keep it simple, even though I have complicated it enough already. We got a great show for you tonight, lots to talk about. We're going to get right into some questions from the corner. Before we do, want to welcome in Mr. Allen Head, Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you, big dog?
How about you, fellas? By George. Hey, we've got some fantastic questions tonight. We're not going to waste any time getting to them because they're covering everything. All our questions tonight, they're covering every topic that we want to discuss anyways. So we're not going to waste any time getting those questions. Only thing we're going to do before we get to them is tell everybody if you're in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, if you want to move to Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, I got the person just for you. Give her a call, Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group, 334-704-44442. I think I said too many fours because she's a 5-star realtor. Don't believe me? Just ask Mr. Allen Hand. He'll tell you. You telling me he's wrong? I'll tell you a liar. Give her a call, folks. She is fantastic, dude. She can find whatever you're looking for. New home for your family, potential flip, investment property, whatever you're looking for, she can do it. 334-704-4442. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. Give her a call and tell her we sent you. It's a damn order. All right, group, we've got news to talk about, but our fantastic listeners, watchers, subscribers at Auburn Live on 3 know what everybody needs to know, and they're asking us right off the bat, Mr. B-Dye, how surprised were y'all with the Lockhart commitment, and what does this do for the class? We'll go right to you, Mr. Cole Pinkston. Surprised.
Completely.
Everybody was surprised. Yeah.
Completely shocked. Woke up next morning and went, oh, I have work to do. No, it's good though, man. It was a good surprise. I mean, Auburn, I didn't get a fuzzy feeling from this guy when I interviewed him after he visited Auburn, but man, I guess it just made sense. We really don't know what Durkin is doing. I mean, I don't have a good feel on him. I don't know if y'all do. Some of the coaches I do. I know what they like. I know what they're going for. I don't know anything about Durkin. I just know he's had good linebackers. He just sent Edgerrin Cooper to the pros, and that's a guy that's 6'3", 6'4", I think, Edgerrin Cooper. Tyler Lockhart fits the mold. That's the kind of guy he likes. So he put a lot into that recruitment. I think some things played out the right way. Alabama was once seen as the favorite, but they got all these linebackers. Auburn was a good fit. And even though I'm hesitant about these surprise commitments sometimes, it seems like it fits pretty good for a lot of reasons.
Mr. Allenhead, you're high on this kid.
Very high on this young man. I think he's extremely talented and just one of those kind of kids that has the versatility that you need in a DJ Durkin type defense. I think I said it earlier, but a guy that can play the money, which is a vital position in your nickel sub package, which realistically, if we're being honest, you play more nickel than you do base this day and age, right?
Sure.
But you need a guy with that level of versatility that can play in space, that can be physical inside the box, that can rush the passer, that can do a litany of things. And he's one of those kind of guys. You know, when I asked around, Cole was just talking about what DJ Durkin likes. I knew I had been told that he was high on TJ Lockhart. Like he was extremely high on the board. And the only other person I heard that he was, had that similar, just kind of highness on was Elijah Melendez, another guy that we've mentioned here on this podcast multiple times over. But watching him wrap up one of his guys, what does this do for the class? It's huge, man, because this is somebody I didn't anticipate being in the class. And I think it raises the floor of what we are capable of because you just added another top 150 type player. I mean, at the end of the day, if he plays like I think he can in senior year, you're talking about somebody inside the top 150. And that just further cements what you're capable of from the caliber of prospect that you're talking about landing at each and every position.
I will say this, even though it was a surprise, and I didn't get the warm and fuzzies after talking to him about Auburn when he visited, I did learn that he spent a great deal of time with Jamonte Waller. They know each other really well. There's a connection there. And hit it off with Amaris Williams. Those two were pretty close, and then they hit it off with Lockhart. So that was another thing. If you're looking for something here that's like, all right, tell me this is not too good to be true, I think there are some really good connections there.
I'll go real quick, and I told Alan this before the show, man. Monday night is around 9:30. I'm laying in bed. I've got a little cold. I don't know what the hell it is. A little under the weather. I was going to take some NyQuil and just go on to bed. Had to get me a game of Call of Duty in. And so this is how it came about to me. I got a text saying, "Hey, Lockhart committed, announcing tomorrow." This was Monday night, and I was like, "Lockhart? Who the hell's Lockhart?" I mean,
Right.
I even told Alan, I said, if my hot board would have came out today or yesterday, I would have had him at like 25%. Like, I did not see this coming. Anyways, I got a text, Lockhart committed to announcing tomorrow. I said, "Oh, cool, man. Well, finish my game. I got a DM. Hey, Lockhart committed." I was like, "Oh, I know. I'm gonna get to it." Finished my game. Went on there. I was like, "Well, I'm gonna put up an RPM, and I'm gonna go post that. Hey, I'm feeling really good about Auburn's chances." Put my RPM in. Went to the board. Had Mandingo Warrior had tagged me in a post. I clicked on it, and it said, "Hey, Cole and Jay Lee, you might want to get in here. The commitment." And I was like, "Who the hell committed? Like, it's not him." And I go to Twitter and I'm looking all around. I'm like, I don't see anything. And I'm like, well, oh, and it's Lockhart. And I saw Christian had put it up. I was like, well, I've got two. I know he's committed, so I put up Auburn Live has learned. Like, and I'm like, how is this happening? Like, what's going on here? And I go and I find Tyler Lockhart on Twitter, and I'll scroll down, and there's committed to Auburn with this graphic, and I'm like, and I look up, and it says follow. I'm not even following the guy, so I never saw it. Like, I thought I had some big scoop coming. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this a little bit, dude. He's already committed. So I was absolutely floored. Maybe one of the biggest surprises of my career, just because of who it was, when it was, and how it happened. And then I went back to the first guy, and he was like, "Yeah, man, he got his edit. He didn't want to wait until tomorrow. He went ahead and posted it. He just couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to commit, to get it out there." So I was absolutely floored. B-Dye. I think it's absolutely huge. We saw Caleb Cunningham, the 5-star wide receiver from Mississippi, throw some Eagles up in a repost. So absolutely huge for the defensive side of the ball, as well as the state of Mississippi. I think absolutely huge pickup.
I ain't gonna lie, Jeffrey. I was sawing logs.
And I thought about texting you. I was like, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. Like, he's committed. Everybody can celebrate. Then Cole can hit him in the morning with some analysis and breakdown. So I thought it worked out perfectly. Yeah. But man, I tell you what, like I said, one of the biggest surprises of my career. Absolutely. Just in this day and age, you don't see that happening. A kid doesn't do that, and I love it.
Yeah,
love it. All right, Cheerio, mate. Cheerio. What position group in the 25 class are you the most nervous about right now? Listen, that's an easy one for me because I just talked about it with Josh Newberg. It's running back for me.
Yeah, running back. That's it.
That makes three of us.
Or corner. I'm a little bit confused about corner, but running back's probably number one because you got to have this class, or you're in trouble.
Big need, right?
I feel like we still have a name circled at corner that everybody still feels relatively positive about, right? Like with Dante Cord. Like you kind of know, and you've already got Devin Williams committed. So for me, having no one committed at running back and the emphasis that needs to be put on that because you're trying to take two in this class. Yeah, man, there's some ambiguity there with the running back board. Like, who are you really honing in on with Alvin committed presently to Penn State? I mean, I think we all think that Auburn will have a shot in the end with him. But nothing's a given in recruiting. So what's the plan there? And that's what you just don't know.
Oh, JP Powell, new running back.
Yeah.
Offer from Derek Nix. Went and saw him earlier this week and offered him, I guess it was on Sunday maybe. But I think the concern for me there would be Alvin Henderson, which we all thought was, not a shoe-in, but very, very would have been very high percentage on my hot board. Committed to Penn State. And I think running back recruitment is going to go a long way. It's going to be a long-term recruitment here because I think a lot of people like Alvin Henderson want to see what Auburn's going to do this season with their running backs. So obviously a concern and something to be tracking moving forward.
It's concerned because it's nothing against JP Powell. It's nothing against Trey Kinkle. It's nothing against these guys that have gotten offered late, but that wasn't the plan.
Right.
It just wasn't. And they may be really good. I mean, look at Jarquez Hunter. That was like a signing day pickup, and he's been very good for Auburn.
Yep.
So that can happen, but it makes you go, yeah, okay, all right, we're having to look around here. That's what you're having to do a little bit. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's off of the original plan, and that's why I'm like, they've been on original plan with everything else, it seems like.
Right.
Agreed. And I mean, if you get a guy like a Shakai Mills-Knight, who I'm very high on, well, then we're right back on plan, in my opinion. And so now you're looking for who's back number two. And is it going to be one of these new offers, or will it be a guy like, will they wait for Alvin? You know what I mean? And
Right.
that'll be the interesting evolution for me. But can you get one in the class that you really like? And then we'll see what happens with back number 2.
Right. Let's see what old Don Lennon wants to know. Aside from Anquan Fegans and Eric Winters, who are the top targets at safety? Are we willing to play the long game with both of them if they delay their commitments? I think the second part is absolutely. They'll wait till December the 10th or whatever the hell it is this year. But as far as safeties, I think Anquan Fegans, I think Eric Winters, I think Martellus Carter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dalton Hyatt out of Florida. I think they still recruiting that kid somewhat. Isn't it Dalton Hyatt or is it something Hyatt?
Hilton Stubbs.
Hilton Stubbs. Dalton
Yes.
Hyatt. Man, I was watching Roadhouse the other night. Y'all give me some credit.
Also, Tay Harris.
Give me a break. Yeah, Tay Harris. That's right.
Clemson commitment to Tay Harris. So those 4 guys, those 4 or 5 guys, tier 1, in my opinion, at the safety position. If Auburn get 2 or 3 of those guys, absolutely huge. Probably want 3 because Eric Winters is kind of a hybrid.
A little bit of a hybrid, absolutely.
Aces full. 1, not to be confused with aces full. 2, outside of those committed, Kalen Edwards, Antonio Coleman, and Isaiah Gibson. 3 defensive linemen. Kalen Edwards, a former commitment. Antonio Coleman, a former commitment. And Isaiah Gibson, a USC commitment. How do y'all see the D-line board right now? Who else is high on it? Who are some flyers, some outliers, some guys to watch?
That's a good question because there's just not a prominent name out there other than those that you named. Isaiah Gibson being an edge.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not really a
Kalen Edwards and Antonio Coleman. If they can get those 2 back in the boat, I think they'll be very happy and probably shut it down with.
I was going to say done deal.
I know they're working on Myron Charles a little bit. That's a big name, but I don't know what the traction is there. Jeremiah McLeod.
Nate Marshall's probably in there still.
Yeah, Nate Marshall. I think there's a connection with Vontrell King-Williams that'll stay.
Be tough, though.
It will.
What about Xavion Hardy, junior college defensive lineman?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I saw he got a Bama offer the other day, so I think he's pretty much collected the big offers.
Cannot forget Andrew Maddox.
Cannot forget him.
I should say, I do the RPM rundown every Friday. I flip my pick from Auburn to Ole Miss for Andrew Maddox. Him not visiting at all in the spring, that bothered me. I think Ole Miss has probably got him right now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. That's about all I've got. There was one more. Kevin Otis.
Yeah.
Is a name I heard late in the spring. Maybe maybe he's a tier 2 guy, but certainly a name that I recognize. Let's see. Wes Double-Lot 28. Give me the 2 deep on the offensive line. It seems to me like we have a lot more quality tackles than guards. Is this a concern? Y'all know more about it than I do, fellas. Talk to me. 2 deep on the offensive line.
He's talking about the team, right?
Sure. This is a team question, Wes. Nice job.
We'll go ahead and answer it.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Obviously, you're transferring in from Mississippi State. Percy Lewis right now slotted to be tier 1 starting left tackle. You're returning right tackle, Too Tall Miller. So those are 1 and 2 at both left and right. Beyond that, I think on the left-hand side, you're probably looking at TJ Johnson. I think that's who they've got slotted in there right now. And then on the right-hand side, I think it's going to be your new transfer. Yep. I honestly believe they're bringing him in to compete.
Okay, so he's not going to be spelling Percy Lewis. He's going to be competing on the right side with Too Tall.
I think you're right, Alan, but I think there's a chance if he's what they think he might be, and I think they see some good things from him on tape, he might be just the 3rd tackle.
Yeah.
And I know that, left and right, it can be kind of confusing there, but I think this guy's willing to do that. That's why he came in. So that might be the deal. And then they give TJ Johnson time to continue developing, although he could end up in there as well.
Sure. I mean, and then you've got Seth Wilford also that's contending for that spot. But what this pickup does, and you guys help me with the guy's name right now.
Ronan Chambers.
Ronan Chambers, excuse me. This is bad podcasting on my part. But what adding a young man like that does is it increases your floor significantly. You're bringing in somebody for 1 year that has competitive reps at the Power 5 and G5 levels, has played at a pretty decent clip. And so if you have an injury, your season is not completely shot. If you need a guy that can give you some rotation, because Percy Lewis and Tall Miller both needed to be rotated this time last year. I think they only played about 70% of the snaps or something of that nature. So this would give that young man an opportunity to rotate in for another 30%, keep them fresh, keep them rested. These are big guys, man. And if they get injured, they are not the same. High ankle sprains, I mean, it just completely derails what you're able to do from an athletic standpoint. So having a guy like Ronan Chambers with that level of experience only further increases the competition in your room, which makes people better and increases that floor to make sure that you're mitigating that risk against injury. But that's kind of, I'm with you. I think that's the 2 deep at tackle. But what do you think, Cole?
Well, I wanted to add too about Chambers. He reminds me a little bit of Gunnar Britton. When you watch Gunnar Britton at Western Kentucky, he was a tackle all the way, never played guard.
Sure.
But he did struggle with the speed rush as a tackle at Western Kentucky. I see something similar with Ronan Chambers. He's not great as a pass protector, but he's a really good run blocker. So is this another Gunnar Britton situation? Maybe he is a guard for Auburn. Maybe he moves down. Nobody expected that with Gunnar Britton. I could see that happening with Ronan Chambers. There's another guard. I'm with you, Wes. There's not a plethora of guards on the roster, it doesn't seem like.
Now let's walk through it. So right now, I think everybody would peg Dylan Wade to be the starting left guard, Jeremiah Wright to be the starting right guard, Connor Lew your starting center. So that would be your first team.
I think Tate Johnson's going to be a guard.
You think he's going to be a guard or a center?
I think he's both.
Okay, so he's probably your first interior guy out.
Yeah, you got E.J. Harris as a guy that could do that.
Sure.
Braden Joyner was really kind of the backup, but Jaden Muskrat was banged up during springs.
That's what I was going to say. If Jaden Muskrat's full speed, my expectation would be that he's probably your backup left guard, maybe even giving you rotational snaps at tackle because he did that last year for you. So a guy that provides you some versatility. But I'm with you. I heard positive things about the young man out of Auburn High School, which really kind of shocked me because he's not the biggest guy on the planet. I mean, when you look at him, I mean, what is he, like 6'1"?
Yeah,
maybe 6'2".
He's not.
Are you talking about Braden or EJ?
Braden Joyner.
Braden.
Okay.
EJ looks the part. Braden.
Yeah, I was going to say EJ looks good.
Yes.
Braden's undersized. He's not lengthy, not long at all. A little bit sawed off, but he gets after it in the run game. I've had many people tell me that now. So he's there. I think he'll be a quality backup for Auburn.
I agree. Power, and he knows where to be. And I think that's half the battle as it pertains to offensive line. If you don't know who to block, you can't be on the field. And I think he's a smart, intuitive player, and that's really helping him right now.
Yep.
Connor Lew, Dylan Wade, Percy Lewis, kid from Selma, what's his name?
Jeremiah Wright.
Jeremiah Wright, and Tall Miller. That's a damn good starting five, isn't it?
It is.
If they play up to their ceiling, Jeffrey, that'll be one of the better offensive lines we've had, at least since 2019, when you had Jack Driscoll and Prince Tego Winogu as your 2 offensive tackles in that class or on that team. Winogo, however you say his name. Nobody knows, man. I've already talked about Dalton from,
Yeah.
I had it, and then you messed me up. Winogo.
Is it Winogo?
Winogo.
I thought it was Winogo. Yeah.
I just called him Tega.
Yeah. Prince.
Prince.
Hey, but how about we're having this Wes, imagine the position Auburn is in right now for him to even ask that question. We've got too many quality tackles. We've got more quality tackles than we do.
That's wild.
That was a question on this show. Can you believe that?
No, I'm with you because 2 years ago at the tail end of the Harsin era, we just
18 months.
Yeah, we just were begging for any kind of an offensive lineman commitment. I mean, do you remember when Clay Whedon committed and everybody's like, "Thank God."
Yeah. Finally got somebody to sign.
Did they even get a transfer offensive lineman?
No. So we went, because that's when I first started joining you guys on the platform. And we thought that kid from Arizona State might be the guy.
Oh, yeah. Ben Scott.
Yes.
I'll never forget it. Never forget that one.
Signed with Auburn.
He signed and then was like, I'm good.
The only 100% confidence level I've ever put.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Trust me, I know.
I was like, yeah. I was told, yeah, he signed. It's a done deal. I was like, shit. All right, cool.
He
100%,
did.
big dog.
That's
Now-
what happened.
And then Dylan Wade actually started the trend. And from Dylan Wade
Yeah.
moving forward, they have been extremely successful in the transfer portal.
Yep, that was a big one too.
Even though that's good stuff, Wes. Appreciate your question, man. Let's see what real Owen Smith, not the fake one, has to say. What are Auburn's chances with Caleb Cunningham, the 5-star wide receiver from Mississippi? And if Auburn lands Julian Lewis, would it impact Caleb Cunningham's chances with Auburn? Anybody feel strongly? I feel like it would only help. I don't know that it would be a done deal.
Oh yeah, it would help.
No way it would be a done deal, but it would
Right.
absolutely help. 100%. I mean, when you've got a quarterback of that caliber and a wide receiver that wants to be featured in an offense, and you know you're going to be featured in the passing game in Hugh Freeze's offense, but do you have somebody that can get him the ball? Julian Lewis can do that. There's no question about it. Again, he is the most accurate quarterback in this high school cycle, period.
I'm wondering if Cunningham is a similar situation to Tyler Lockhart in that if Mississippi State is the team to beat, which there's a chance that's true. Boy, I mean, can you see Mississippi State pulling a guy like this? I hate to be that way, but that's going to be tough. You know, it's just going to be tough for them to do that, especially if they don't have a good season. It's possible that they don't have a good season at all.
I think this kid's going to wait. I don't get the feeling that Caleb Cunningham is one of these kind of guys that's going to get pressured into committing during the summer. Like, that's just not the feel I get from his recruitment. I get the feeling he's going to take his into the season and kind of make a decision. And I'm with you. So if Mississippi State is not playing improved football underneath Jeff Levy, if they're, in that 3, 4, 5 win territory, I can absolutely see him looking elsewhere. That's for certain.
I mean, if they want him bad enough in today's football, they can make it happen, I'm sure.
Sure. And I think
Ole Miss and Alabama, to me, feel like the bigger threats to Auburn. Maybe Florida. We'll see. That situation might be similar to Mississippi State's. By the time the season's over, we'll see. I don't know. It seems like the Tyler Lockhart commitment gives you a little bit more hope with a guy like Caleb Cunningham. If you're able to pull that one off, because we knew Alabama wanted him pretty badly, and in the in-state schools. Could you see a similar path for Caleb Cunningham?
maybe.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah, I don't know if it could be that way or not, but we'll see.
See what old Gruss wants to know. G. Russ, most likely candidate to replace Hollis Davison. Davison, the 3-star tight end from Georgia who decommitted from Auburn. Only because, and I respect this a little bit, he wants to take official visits, and he didn't want to do that committed to school.
Okay.
So they had a good conversation with Auburn. They explained their position. He still wants to come on his official visit, I think, for the Iron Bowl. No, not the Iron Bowl. Hosted November 23rd. Auburn State, Alabama.
A&M, right?
A&M, there you go. November 23rd, whatever. He's got the official visit set. So I think Auburn will continue to recruit him. I think the writing's on the wall anytime a kid decommits from you. But as far as candidates to replace him, how big of a loss do you think he actually is? Cole, you really like this kid.
I do, yeah.
As far as a versatile tight end.
Yeah, if you end up completely losing out on Hollis Davidson, I think it would be not great. I mean, there's plenty of guys I think you could replace him with out there. I like Caleb Edwards a lot. He's coming back for an official visit, so there's obviously some traction there. But Hollis Davidson is this new age tight end, man. He's the flex. He's the Rivaldo Fairweather in your offense. And I don't know if he's that good, but he's that kind of guy, a receiving threat at tight end. So I really like him for that reason.
Another tight end that's coming for an official visit is Coyote Armstrong. He's out of Texas. Yeah. He's coming in, I think, pretty soon, actually. But he's another guy. Those two guys, I think, they have official visits scheduled. Certainly at the top of my replacement list because they've got official visits scheduled. Let's see. Coyote is when is he coming in?
End of May, I think.
May 31st. There you go.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that tight end position, man. It was almost overstocked before. They had 2 kids committed, and they were still recruiting the hell out of these tight ends. So, not a lot of lost traction there. Back kid at 23 with the addition of Tyler Lockhart. How many more linebackers do you think Auburn will look to add now? You think Caleb Falk's more of a middle guy? You think Lockhart's more of a wheel guy? Do they take another one or two?
I think one, probably, and it's because while I know they're recruiting J.J. Falk inside, and I think they think he can play there, it's just my gut feel that he's going to end up at the buck position at some point just because his body's going to carry him to that. So you probably want to be prepared in the off chance that that is what happens. There's just the natural progression that he moves outside. So not exactly sure, but probably another inside linebacker, maybe a Mike, maybe a Will, maybe somebody that provides you some versatility. What do you guys think?
Maybe a best available.
Yeah.
Regardless of, I'm trying to think of some other, like, Jaden. Did you say Jaden Perlotti?
I did not, but Jaden Perlotti would certainly be on the list. Elijah Melendez would be on the list. Eric Winters, we're recruiting him as a safety, but somebody that would potentially project at linebacker, contingent on how his body develops. Because again, look, they're recruiting for a position right now. When you get them into a strength and conditioning program and they start to naturally add weight, it's a little bit different deal, and it starts to carry them into positions they didn't think they were necessarily going to play.
I could see them pitching to Eric Winters. Here's the deal: if we add you, and you're one of the very top guys on our board, you have a spot at safety and linebacker.
Yeah.
So for that reason, we don't take another guy past you, if that makes sense. Now, I think a lot of this depends on what Khalil Jacobs does because he's a 2-year guy, right?
Yep.
That's important to know. If you get a 2-year guy, could you roll with Lockhart and Falk and we expect them to get winners and then be done with it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you absolutely could, because that would give you
not a great linebacker class either.
Not a deep one. I think you got some really good top pieces, but not as deep a one as I think you had this time last year, because you got Tavion Wallace as a guy that I'm really high on that I think's pretty good. You've got Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockhart. Eric Winters is a hybrid, so you don't really know, just yet, is he safety? Is he a linebacker? Could he be both? But that's really it, man, from Auburn's perspective. And then Melendez is on there, like you said, and then Jaden Perlotti. That's probably the group that they're really looking at.
Yeah.
And so you've already got 2 guys out of that group if you're considering Falk as an inside linebacker, and I believe that they are at this point anyway. I mean,
I agree. Inside. That's where I'm going to have him listen on the hot board.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's what you should do. And then, like you said, with Khalil Jacobs, you're talking about Robert Woodyan and Khalil Jacobs would be your 2 veteran guys. Then you've got 2 young guys that you just brought in this past year's class. The kid from Clay Chalkville, I'm trying to think of his name right now. DJ Barber. And then the young man from
Riddick.
Yes, DeMarcus Riddick. So you'll have 4. That would bring you to 6, maybe 7, contingent on what happens with Winters. And if you really need somebody else, you'd probably just go to the portal at that point to make it a solid 8.
Yeah. We'll see how it ends up, man. It'll be curious to see who they bring in the summer and who all they're really, really targeting. Austin Faison, after their college careers are done, which class, 2023 or 2024, will have more players drafted? Also, besides our 2 coordinators, which coach will be a head coach first?
I mean, to me, it's pretty easy. It's the 24 class. The top end talent that's probably most likely to get drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's 24.
I'd go 24 too.
Cam Coleman, Damaris Williams, DeMarcus Riddick, Walker White, Joe Phillips, Jamonte Waller. That list, the NFL intangibles are just popping off that list.
Yeah, they're dripping with NFL upside in that class. And again, I think Keldrick Falk, Connor Lew, those are NFL dudes, in my opinion.
Yeah. Kay and Lee too.
Yeah, absolutely. Those 3 for sure, in my opinion, will be playing in the NFL. But beyond them, I mean, I don't know just yet. You know what I mean? In that class, there's still something to be decided.
Besides our 2 coordinators, position coaches, head coach first. So you got Jake Thornton, you got Ben Angamoa, you've got Derek Nix as running backs coach technically, but he's out because he's offensive coordinator. Marcus Davis, you've got Vontrell King Williams. You've got Charles Kelly, Crime Dog,
Josh Aldridge.
Let's see.
That was the one I was thinking of, Josh Aldridge. Potential head coach.
Yeah.
I feel like if Crime was going to be a head coach, he would have already gotten an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But could you see him being could you see him going down and being a Jackson State head coach?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Charles Kelly either. I don't know if he would do that at this point.
No, I think Charles is happy to be in Auburn. And so unless like a Troy came open.
I was going to say, I could see him taking a Troy head coach.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, especially with Charles's ties to Larry Blakeney. I mean, I could see how he would revere a program like Troy, where he would take that kind of a job.
I'm gonna go with Aldridge. That's my pick.
I think that's safe. I think Josh is he is next in line, I think, to be a coordinator of all the young coaches on that staff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if he gets that position, he's probably the one that's going to put himself in the kind of spot to be a head coach, because that's the typical progression.
Yeah. I'll agree there. I'll agree there. There's really no cut and dry right answer here. There's no, Rhett Lashley.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no obvious. If you're going to also put the coordinators in it, I mean, I think it's probably Derek Nix, but
yeah, I would say Nix.
DJ Durkin has really done a lot since Maryland to kind of, put some new positive buzz behind his name. And I think if he has a healthy stint at Auburn, helps Auburn get back to championship pedigree, that he will become a relevant name again as far as coaching searches are concerned, and somebody that could potentially parlay this into a head coaching position.
I like it. Let's see. Finale. This is a really good one to end the show with. Conqueror. Hey, Conqueror. If the talent gap between Auburn and Georgia and Alabama on day one of the Hugh Freeze era was as far as the Pacific to the Atlantic, where would you put it now? Well, let's say Georgia and Bama are West Coast.
Okay.
They're LA. Auburn is St. Simon's Island.
Okay.
On the East Coast when Hugh Freeze took over. How far west has Auburn progressed in talent acquisition to shore up that talent gap with Alabama and Georgia? Would you put them to the Rockies? Would you put them? Oh, really?
Nebraska, Colorado, that area.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I was going to say Kansas-ish. So you're a little past midway of the.
I was going to say 60%. 60%.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Conqueror suggested Missouri.
Columbia, Missouri. Which I think, isn't that the dead center of the continental United States?
Is it really?
I think it is. I think it is the absolute dead center.
I think they're past dead center. Barely.
Yeah, I think they are. Like I said, I think you're talking, like if I'm giving you a landmark, you're probably talking like Topeka or Lawrence, Kansas, something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe you've shifted as far out as like Lincoln, Nebraska, but it's in that middle territory. You're probably talking 60 to 65% closing.
The reason I was making the point on the Collins show about give them your three, just please give them your three, because I want to see it selfishly from watching how they recruit. And if they continue this trend, then year 3, you get another full recruiting class in. I think they're there. I think they're really, really close. We're talking almost to California now.
Well, and look at the amount of players you're going to have to replace in this class. I think if you look at, we're going to geo-map this. Go ahead, Zach.
I was going to say maybe Denver.
Oh, well, yeah, that's okay. In my mind, that was what I was thinking, because Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, that's sort of your midpoint.
Yep.
Well, that's a little past mid.
Yeah.
Maybe Kansas City is the midpoint.
There you go.
I was thinking a little past that, so Denver, yeah, I'll go with that.
So Denver looks to be 65% of the way there.
Sure. We'll go with that, yeah. Denver, the Sunshine State.
I'll go with I'll go with Denver, and then you get another recruiting class in. I don't even want to know the names. I like the way they're doing it right now. I think you're in Las Vegas.
But again, and I'm with you, Cole, with the amount that you have to replace, because if you look at Justin's chart, I think we were at 27 seniors in this class, which is an insane amount of talent that was recruited by a previous regime, right? So to turn around and be able to replace that with a lot of young pieces that you really like that have that higher ceiling than potentially some of the guys in that senior class, I think you're 100% is right. It may not necessarily translate to wins on the field, but as far as overall talent level, I'm with you. I think you're really, really close to being where you need to be a championship pedigree type team.
Yeah, I agree.
You muted.
You didn't hear me cuss. Good stuff, Conquer. I thought that was a brilliant question.
That was fun. I enjoyed it.
Hey, what was his? Oh, Con. I'm gonna give him a damn. How about you?
I hear you on that one.
Speaking of how about you, anybody got any this week?
Yeah, I got 3.
Okay.
Let me pull them up here.
I had a great week of message boarding. I thought it was a fantastic week of the corner. That was fantastic.
So I'm not gonna lie, all of mine have to do with my 3 have to do with the whole. You know what? I don't even care. I'm just gonna say it. The whole AA Peyton Thorne guy.
Oh,
that loves to call us out.
Get it in there.
And you can keep calling us out. I guess it doesn't bother me that
Listen,
much.
this is the true story. I had a coach text me going, "Who is this idiot?" Here's the thing, like it's not even close. Like, like, if you really know what's going on behind the scenes, you know that it's not even close. So, anyways, I'm not going to give him any more airtime. But what you got, Cole?
Yeah, it's about some people had some really good comments, and I'm gonna give, but they've also had good weeks. Braden, Braeden, he gets one. He has been cracking me up, man. Rob's Chubb.
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
ROBB.
Yeah, ROBSCHUBB, all one word.
Okay.
And then the third one is Fozzy.
FOZZY.
IE.
That's what I said. Fozzie, like Fozzie the Bear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, from the Muppets. Yeah.
His comment was, it's smart to skip the dealer and go to the source.
All right. Alan Head?
I'm going to give BW one because he had me rolling earlier today.
Good one.
I'm going to give Coochie Rabbit one.
Oh, Coochie. Love me some Coochie. I always have.
I know you do. And then I'm going to give my dad one, man.
All right.
It's been a tough week in the head house, but I'm gonna give a how about you to my dad.
How about you, Alan Head Dad?
There you go.
Nice.
Well, I don't know what it's for, big dog, but I'll give you a second one there. Alan Head Dad squared.
Times 3 it.
There you go. Can't be the lone. That would be rude, wouldn't it, Cole?
It would.
I hear you. You got to be Trace at this point, right?
Yeah. All right. Like I said, I got how about you to Conquer? That was great stuff, Conquer. I loved it. I love the creativity of that question. How about you to King BVF? Good stuff from Mr. King BVF this week. How about you, big dog? How about you to ZB? The letters ZB. How about you to
a good one?
Yeah. There's a couple of them that we're on kind of on the same thread.
Yeah.
How about you, Danny Archer? How about you, big dog?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Times 2.
All right. And I got 2 more. How about you to AF Auburn?
There you go. Hey, yes.
Oh,
how about you,
Beulah?
Bryce from Beulah, big dog. How about you, big dog? Then the last one, but certainly not the least, maybe my biggest how about you of the year. How about you to Mr. E. Moss for securing Cabbage?
Yeah. Oh, yes, sir.
He locked it down.
Make that times 2.
E. Moss.
Definitely for E. Moss, for sure.
Good for you, E. Moss. Congratulations, big dog. She's a lucky woman.
There you go.
Would are always looking to eat her cabbage. And she's a looker too, big dog. He definitely
he outkicked his coverage.
He moved on up in the world. I promise you that.
You know what I love about Emos? He's one of the rare people. You know, these radio shows that we do every once in a while, Jeffrey, you never think that you're going to reach somebody there. Sure enough, Emos found us through the radio.
No kidding.
That is you just don't see that much. And he was like, I got to join. I heard enough.
That is awesome. And he's one of our most loyal listeners.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And listen, he shared with us, man. He went through some tough times. I'm a big fan of Emos, man. I'm really happy for you, man. Real happy for you, big dog. Real happy for you and her. By the way, to give you some context, man, his wife really does make really good cabbage, and that was one of the reasons. I just want to get your mind out of the gutter.
If you're just joining us,
yeah. I'm being legit there. It's literally cabbage.
This is the PG-13 version of this podcast. 100%.
You got to have the platinum membership for the R rating. All right, man. I tell you what, that might have been the best group of questions we've had in a long time.
Those were
fantastic. I thought they were fantastic. Even the football question from Mr. West was fantastic. The offensive line. I mean, who would have thought, again, 18 months ago that we'd be talking about Auburn having too many quality tackles?
Yeah, that's wild.
Not me.
We're going to be back, folks. If you haven't already, go check us out at Auburn Live on 3, like Mr. E. Moss did. You'll get hooked. Listening right now, you can go join for 2 months for $1, AU1. Use the promo code capital A, capital U1. All the transfer portal news, all the recruiting news, all the team news, basketball transfer portal news, basketball recruiting news. We've got it all at Auburn Live on 3. Go give us a shot. We promise you will not be disappointed. We will be back Sunday night for the call-in show. Looking forward to seeing and hearing everybody there. And we'll have another great show. Again, Auburn, Opelika, Lee County. You need a realtor looking to sell your home, buy a new house. Look no further for the help you need. Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. She's a 5-star realtor, folks. Don't believe me? Just ask me. All right, that's going to do it, man. We really appreciate everybody listening. We surely appreciate everybody watching. For Mr. Allenhand, for Mr. Cole Pinkston, for Mr. Zach in the back who stayed in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay out that left lane. See ya.